Today on Homeworthy, we're visiting the Birmingham home of interior designer Beth Hubrich, founder of the vintage decor business Mary and Wilma. Originally from Florida, Beth has infused her Alabama residence with an array of coastal furnishings and charming antiques that bring in a lighthearted and welcoming feel. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. By clicking the join button below, you not only support the production of these videos, you also gain access to exclusive content just for members. And today, our members will get a look inside Beth's curated and whimsical powder bath and laundry room, both featuring walls she painted herself. Join today to see more of the homes you love.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Beth Hubrich. Welcome to my home in Birmingham, Alabama. So here we are in the dining room, and originally for probably several years we did not use this as a dining room. Our dining room was kind of flip-flopped in another room of the house, but for some reason I just wasn't happy with where the dining room was and where the table was, and we never used it. It just sat there unused. And I'm such a big proponent of living in your spaces, loving your spaces, and using them and enjoying them. And I flip-flopped this table and put it in, which I guess really could be considered the foyer because it is the first room that you walk into. But I love it out here, and it's so great because we have this wonderful porch on the front of our house, and when it's nice and the weather is wonderful, we can open up the doors and people can walk through, and so it's so nice to have this option. And my kids kind of told me, said they would never sit here, they would never sit at the table, they would never use it once I flip-flop it, and this is where we do everything. We eat here, they do homework here, they hang out here. It really has been such a great space for us. I am from Florida originally, and so I love art and all things Floridian, and so that's why you'll see here, everything here is, pretty coastal. Some really special paintings. This is actually a rubbing, and my parents actually got this picture, and I kind of stole it from them. It hung in our house for a long time, and I've always loved it, but they're actually mahi-mahi fish, and when they come out of the water, there are these beautiful blues and greens and yellows, and so the only thing that is painted here is the eye, so I love this. And then my other favorite piece is this watercolor. Also, I stole it from my parents. But it just reminds me of the kind of Florida that I grew up in, just really pretty deserted and desolate, and just the beautiful seagrass and the oats and everything. So I've tried to fill our home with things that feel like us and remind me of home. The rug actually came from, it's kind of funny, I was actually in a little vintage, an antique store in Anniston, Alabama, which is where my mother is from, and I saw it and I loved it. I thought the colors were so great. And the woman there has told me that it actually came from an estate sale in Birmingham. And so I feel like it kind of, came back home. And I love pinks and greens and blues. I mean, really, I think I'm just inspired by the ocean and Floridian sunsets. And so I think I kind of naturally gravitate towards those. The chairs, actually, I found on Facebook Marketplace. And while we were renovating the house, I kind of convinced my husband. I was like, hey, let's get out of town. Let's just go somewhere close by, and we'll take the kids, and we'll swim and do some fun things. And there's a great little hotel in Auburn. And on the way there, I told him, I was like, hey, just give me 1 second. We got to stop off at this exit, and I'm going to meet a woman and get some chairs. And these were the chairs, and my husband was literally like, oh my gosh, they're terrible. And they were in terrible shape, but I had them recovered in this beautiful Italian velvet, and we love them. Again, I mean, I love the bamboo feeling, and so I definitely probably always lean towards those Floridian roots. This is, I love this brass piece. It's a piece my mother gave me. I mean, a lot of times you'll see people put, firewood and things like that in it, but I love repurposing, beautiful vintage pieces and using them in different ways. I would love to say that I throw dinner parties at a moment's notice. I wish that I was that talented, but, I think really it's more like friends and family. And, I mean, really, I would say, I think just, a casual lifestyle, we kind of open up the doors when the weather is nice and maybe even watch football on the front porch and just might have, chips and dip out there and people kind of going back and forth. What I love about this space is that it's so open to our other living space. And so I think it feels, when we have friends and family over, it feels so conversational because we can kind of be in both spaces at once. People can be eating, people can be lounging, reading. I think that's kind of the beauty of these two spaces working together. And, the area that we live in Birmingham is kind of known for having, smaller houses. And so you really have to make the most of your square footage. And, we've tried to maximize all of it and just to make it so that it's just a really functional and inviting space for us too. In our dining area, we painted this. It's actually, everyone's always like so surprised to learn, and we painted it in our other living space as well, but it's actually called Newburgh Green, but it reads very, very blue. And again, I think when we renovated this house, the house is about, it's over 100 years old. I wanted to be true to the house and honor its past, but also bring in, some color and make it feel, I guess for me, kind of like my Floridian roots. And I love blues and greens. And this, you would think that this dark color, I think sometimes people think, oh gosh, it's gonna make the room feel so dark, but it's really so open that when you think about the walls and how they're painted, there's actually not that much wall because there's windows and doors and cased openings and things like that. And so I think it lends itself really well to all the natural light that we get in here. This lamp is kind of a fun find actually off of Facebook Marketplace. I kind of drag things home all the time from Facebook Marketplace that my family is kind of like, what is that? But I love it. I love this lamp. I mean, it's just unusual. I think it's fun. Of course, I gravitate towards these like terracotta kind of pinky colors. A really dear friend of mine custom made the lamp shade for me, which is, she's so talented. And so that was really fun. I had this fabric from Downing's, and it was just, I was like, why not? This space is kind of weird. We've thought about putting in like bookshelves at one point. I don't know, maybe we will, but I just thought, it's always great to have more lighting. And so we went with this one here. So this is just kind of like our little console area. I think, design can be so much fun. And so I love having my little statue lady here with her fun. Sometimes I change it out during the holidays and give her crazy hair and things like that. But I found this mirror at an estate sale and kind of just fell in love with the beautiful color. I love it against the red. And then I've just really surrounded this area with, lots of artwork that I love. My mom has a wonderful friend who's an artist, and we've included her pieces here. You can see there's this great, it's actually a piece of wood that was carved. And if you look at it, you can see it's actually a mother holding her baby. And so my mom's friend actually carved the wood and then made the block print. And so I love having pieces that are special to me. This painting it's actually a Matisse. It really is a poster. And when I was in graduate school in Houston, Texas, didn't have a lot of money. I was actually living in a dorm for my first semester. I didn't know anybody there. And I just thought I have to have some color and I have got to have some artwork. And so I decided that I basically took the poster and kind of turned it into like a paint by number and just followed those brush strokes. And so while it's not, super, again, just a poster that I painted over, I love the colors and I love colors, and you can look out the window and you're seeing the boats, and so it reminds me of Florida as well. So this is kind of our front living area, and it's right next to the dining room. And what I love is that, again, that it just kind of has this openness that people can be eating or maybe even playing a game at the table, but then you can be lounging and hanging out. Obviously, we've got this big chandelier with the beaded work. And again, it has that Floridian feel to it with the bamboo. And this is a great table, actually a draper's table that I got from an antiques dealer, and have just filled it with things that I love. I actually got this sconce from an antique dealer, from the same one I got the draper's table from. And when we were renovating the house, I only had one. I wasn't sure where it was going to go. And I was in another a totally different antique store, totally different part of town in Alabama. And I called my mom and I said, I think I found the mate to that sconce, except it was black. And so sure enough, she sent me pictures of this other sconce and I'm comparing them and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the same one. One of them was not hardwired, but the other one was. And so we basically took the black one, had someone work their magic and kind of make it match the other, and then had it hardwired. And so now we have a pair. And I cannot believe we found them in two totally different places. So I have a very kind of unusual career path. I'm actually a dietitian by training, which is so strange. And I worked in that world for several years. And then when we were renovating our home, I started finding things that I just loved, but I was like, gosh, I don't think this is going to work in our house, but it could work for somebody else. And at the same time, I was also starting to sell some of the things in my home that I knew we were not going to be able to use once we moved back in post renovation. And so what I kind of thought, I was like, gosh, I feel like I don't really even consider myself an antique dealer, or I really consider myself more of a matchmaker and finding funky, cool, unusual pieces that I know really deserve a second story and could live in somebody's home. I think every home obviously has a story, and I think that's what's so fun, is seeing people and how they live in their homes. And I love walking into a home and looking at all the different pieces and kind of figuring out who this person is. And so that for me has really been so much fun in my business, Mary and Wilma. And I love to share these kind of funky, fun, unusual finds from the past. We've got some these are actually storage ottomans from the inside. I love them because they're so great to put your feet on, and having the storage is so key. This great pair of barrel chairs, even though they are small, and I actually love smaller chairs because it's really hard to find. And my husband, who is over 6 feet tall, he loves these chairs. You would think they're too small for him, but he thinks they're so comfortable. But I love smaller chairs because you can use them in so many different ways and in so many different places. I found this settee from another vintage dealer on Facebook Marketplace, brought it home. My kids told me that you cannot mix pink and red and green, and I am like, oh, yes, you can, for sure. This was another fun find. I have loved this lamp, and when I first polled people on my Instagram, on my Mary and Wilma business, people hated it. They absolutely hated it, and told me that it looked like a lamp that might have been in a Holiday Inn in Las Vegas, which I actually think sounds pretty fun. But I love it. We've added this shade from Ballard Design, which I think gives it a totally different feel. And that's what was so fun, was because once we added a new shade to it, people kind of, got the vision. They were like, oh, I can see it now. So I love to have, different, unusual things. This is an old piece that actually my mom got from a friend of my grandmother's, and I just painted it just to give it a little update. And I love the blues against the blues, and kind of having that together. All of this is really a great vintage store in Tuscaloosa. I love the table because of the fretwork and just the different lines. And of course it's bamboo, and the color, it was already this perfect shade of minty, awesome green. This sofa, so funny. I actually found this sofa on Facebook Marketplace. And I had been messaging with a woman, and then all of a sudden she kind of stopped messaging with me, and I thought, oh gosh, someone's bought it, or I've just lost it, or whatever. Anyway, she eventually got back to me, and it is in pristine condition. And she told me that her parents, she lived in Aruba, and this sofa came from Aruba. There was one nice, really nice furniture store there, and her parents bought it, I think in the 70s, and then they shipped it back to the States when they moved home. And so my kids and husband, they sometimes call this the Aruba room. But I just love it. The red detailing, all the stitching, just in pristine condition, and I just love it. It's probably one of my favorite things in the house. And I love these older vintage sofas because they're so long and you can really, stretch out on them, which is so fun. I'm kind of a mix it all, modern, traditional, Floridian, Southern. I mean, I kind of love it all. And for me, it's really about just what I love and what feels good. I mean, I got this, I saw this pheasant at an estate sale and I just thought he was so beautiful. I'm not a hunter. My husband's not a hunter, but I just think the colors and the feathers and the patterns are so pretty. And, he was a little bit more than I wanted to pay, and so I kind of walked away from it. And then my sweet mom surprised me and gave it to me as a birthday present. And my husband said, "Your mom gave you a dead bird for a birthday present?" And I was like, "Yes, best birthday present ever." And so, I mean, here, I've got my pheasant, and then I've got this shell-encrusted lamp that I actually found in North Carolina out hunting. So I love to have a whole mix. This is a horseshoe crab. I mean, my kids and I actually found this in an area in Florida that we actually love. I mean, there were so many one time that I think, lined this whole entire dock with them. And so we brought this one home. It was already dead. So no horseshoe crabs were hurt. But just, I mean, I love to fill things in our home and that feel memorable and remind us of, fun things that we have done together. I really had bought this chest originally to sell as part of Mary and Wilma. And when I got it home, my husband just absolutely fell in love with it. And so, if your husband falls in love with a piece of furniture, you can't sell it. And it really has been so fabulous. It's got great storage. And one little trick that I love, I keep all of my linens, my napkins and everything in here, but it's perfect because I can see and mix and match, and I love to do tablescapes and things like that, and so it's really fun to have those in here. And so if I can get the drawer, there we go. This is kind of our bar area. When we renovated, this was originally kind of where the dining was, and it wasn't a great spot because it was kind of a pass-through area. And so my husband really wanted to have a bar, and so this is kind of his area. This wallpaper is from Cotton and Quill, and she's so talented, and I've always loved it. And I love, again, the pheasants and the flowers, and so it feels, very traditional, and it kind of drove really the color scheme for our home with all the blues and the greens. But I love, I'm such a big proponent of using the things that you have. And, a lot of this glassware was my grandmother's, and I think you should not be afraid to use it. What are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? Bring it out, use it. I mean, you could be having just your girlfriends over and get out your favorite crystal. In the same respect, I found this set of glasses. My father had a rum and coke every Friday night that I can remember as a kid. And somehow over the years, I think we had 4 of them, they broke or we lost them or whatever. And I found a set of 4 in New Orleans, and I kind of was like, I don't know, I'm going to think about it. And of course, I went back the next day and they were gone. And so I was like, lesson learned, you love it, you should buy it. And I found these in an estate sale, and they're my favorite glasses. I love them. It's what I know they're not really right for drinking wine out of, but that is what I drink wine out of. And so they're my favorite. And then a lot of this glassware here, some is new, some's old, but the blue is from an estate sale. The amber were my grandmother's. They were Mary's because my business is named for Mary and Wilma. But I love, love, love colored glassware so much. These were her juice glasses. And so I think just bring it out and use it and enjoy it. And that's what makes it so much fun is to, there's my glasses. I've got my napkins and linens over there. I can see what kind of mix and matches. And so hopefully, that I think can be inspiring and make you try different combinations you might not have ever tried. But this is one of our favorite. We love coming in from the porch and, fixing a glass of wine or making a drink. And, but this is a fun area for us. I love old bottles, and I just have to say that I got this shell encrusted bottle from a sweet antiques dealer. So wonderful. It's one of my favorite pieces. It's kind of probably if the house was on fire, I probably would take that one with me. And the other fun thing is we found this sign, "We guarantee all our workmanship." It was in one of the kind of on the porch. It was like stuck inside of like the masonry rocks. And when we were renovating, we found it. And I was like, gosh, I was like, what a great, motto to live by, is that you guarantee, your workmanship and all the things that you do. And so we kept it and kind of put it on display as just a fun reminder. This is Cotton and Quill, and she has these beautiful wallpapers and also fabrics. And so I actually kind of did this myself. Don't look too closely, but because it's definitely not perfect. But I love the idea of matching the lamps and the wallpaper. And these are just the cordless, Amazon lamps. and I just, added the shades over it. So just something kind of fun. Okay, so we're kind of moving into the kitchen area, and this is really the front two rooms, kind of the living and dining area. We really left pretty much the same when we renovated. It was this area. The space was great. We really didn't add on a ton of square footage, but what we did was kind of reconfigure things just to make it, more livable for us, but also tried to stay true to, the character of the home and whatnot. And so originally I have always, loved like really bright, airy white kitchens. And I saw a magazine article and it really had black cabinets, and we decided, I was like, gosh, I think we're gonna have to paint the cabinets dark. And so it's kind of this like moody green, blue. I mean, obviously it's a theme in our house, lots of blues and greens. But I love the dark cabinets. The wood, when we were renovating, we actually, over here and over on these built-ins, we actually had to do some work where we were shoring up underneath the house. And these were some of the original beams that were underneath the house, and they had to come out. And so really, fortunately for us, our builder was so smart and suggested that we, cut them and use them as countertops, which I love. I love having that piece of the home here and the fact that we could reuse those materials. This is probably, the kids, like, they're always around the island. We're always around the island. This is kind of the hub of our home. And I love the built-ins over here. I mean, it's just so fun and functional because I can grab glasses if I need to. I can, get plates if I need to. But I love also bringing out, beautiful pieces and displaying those. So you'll have, I've got some old driftwood, obviously lots of flamingos and shells. But again, just I think that beauty and function can come together. And so I love, I love seeing the pieces that I love out here. But then also, it's easy for kids to come and grab a plate and make a sandwich if that's what they need to do. Most of these are from estate sales or antiques and vintage shops. I know some people might think it's totally strange to have, let's see, I'm gonna turn this around, to have like a sponge, but I love, these old like sponges. And so they're so much fun. So it's kind of strange to have a piece like this, but I love it. And it brings texture and warmth into the space. I've got, lots of glasses. I really love these little flamingos. Lots of birds. And again, all of these are really from kind of mostly estate sales and thrift stores, things like that. I found this little light at a thrift store, and there's just something about like having like a little light that when you come into your home or in the mornings or at night as you're leaving, it's just nice to have that extra little bit of light. This actually is from Amazon. I'm a big proponent of mixing, old and new. So I love having, a little bit of everything. This is a favorite Birmingham artist. I love her, and she does watercolor. And then this is actually a picture of our house when it was first built. And it really hasn't changed that much from the outside. And so I love that. So I've just, again, filled this with pieces that I love. This little banker's box that I got from antique store. It actually has all of my recipes and things that I love in there. And so again, not its original purpose, but you can use things in a whole variety of ways. So originally, we had these pocket doors, and my plan was for this to be a pantry. And I was like, it will stay closed. We will live like this. And yeah, we didn't live like that. I mean, there's kids and we have a dog, and the doors were always open, and it was full of spices and I don't know, things you don't want to look at, or I didn't want to look at. And I actually read this article in Veranda, and it was talking about how they turned this kind of closet into a party closet. And I had this like epiphany. I was like, what am I doing? Why are the spices out? The spices can go in the drawer, the Bisquick can go in the drawers. I was like, we've got to bring out all the things. And so I brought it all out, and I love it, and so now the doors stay open. It doesn't bother me, and it's so much fun. The ceilings are so tall in here. I mean, I've got all kinds of glassware. I mean, dishes. I love dishes so much. Tablecloths are up at the top. That's why I have my ladder, because I can bring it in and out and get to things. And we even have like a little coffee station in here. The kids, there's a little refrigerator underneath here, so the kids can grab beverages, get whatever they need. And it really like does make me so happy. And I mean, again, just being able to see my plates and be like, oh, wow, that would be really cool. So let's mix like these black and white ones. Let's pull in these amber glasses. Let's pull in this. I mean, so that has really been so much fun for me. This is, it's called Palladium Blue, and it's also in the bar area. And I really loved it. And when you're sitting kind of on our sofa and you're looking this way, like out towards the front of our home, it's kind of nice because you can see the Palladium Blue in the bar area and then see the Palladium Blue kind of peeking out in the party closet. But again, I'm just such a huge fan of living with what you have and what you love, and bring it out and display it. I mean, what a shame to like put away those beautiful dishes that your grandmother had that you have great memories of, or, I mean, I think this is just, I think it's so much more fun to live with the things that you enjoy. Having all these countertops really has been so nice because it gives me not only a fun way to display things, but it also gives me a lot of prep space and places to put things and things to set out and things like that. Sometimes things you maybe purchase with a client in mind sometimes become your own. I found the plan when we renovated was always to put a really beautiful painting here, and I had something here and I loved it. I loved it so much. And I found this other painting at a vintage and antique store. And when I brought it home, I just kept looking at it and I thought, gosh, it just belongs up here. And so I fell in love with it. Luckily, I had not promised it to a client, so she didn't know. But the colors just felt so good, and that black feels really lovely in the painting. And so it's become a part of our home. And I love that it's so large too, and it kind of goes all the way up over the range. So this is another living area, and this is kind of the biggest part of the renovation that we did. Was my husband had always wanted a fireplace. When we moved to this area from Atlanta, my husband said he wanted a garage, he wanted a man cave, a basement, and a fireplace. And this house had none of those things. And so anyway, so when we renovated, we added in this fireplace, we added in a side entrance. So it's really nice because you can just drive up and grab your groceries and bring those in right into the kitchen, which is really great. And I always say that this kind of side entrance areas, I hope that people always feel so welcome that they just stroll right on in. Like I mean, I love it. There's nothing better for me than having kids and neighbors going and coming. And for me, I really want my home. Obviously, I would love for it to be beautiful, but I also want it to feel so warm and welcoming. Because I mean, that's the thing for me is I want people to walk in and just feel comfortable and be like, God, this is so fun. I want to hang out here. And so that's what I love. But this area has really been so great for us. This is where we kind of typically hang out as a family. These chairs have lived with us for a long, long time. I love them. My husband loves them. I mean, there's a few things that he's like, I love, but he loves this chair and this pair. And they actually were in my in-laws in a condo that they had purchased, and they were going to give them away. And I was like, no, we'll take them. And the reason I love them is because they're small and petite. It's very hard to find these smaller, petite chairs, and they swivel and they rock. And so I love that people can be sitting here, swivel around, have a conversation with the people in the kitchen, or if I'm cooking, my husband can be talking to me or whatever. And we just had them covered in this really fabulous flame stitch that I love so much. And again, the blues, the greens, all of it. I mean, these have been recovered multiple times. I think this might be their third round of fabric with us. And that's what I think is, so great about vintage pieces. They have good bones and they work, and these really do. And it's so worth it to recover and to reuse. And this one of my favorite stores in Anniston, Alabama, where my mom is from, Downings, and they always have the best fabric. And I found this fabric there. Originally, it was going to be drapes, and then I was like, no, they're meant to be on chairs. And so excited about these. I got these bar stools I actually found at a little vintage store in Atlanta. And originally when I found them, of course, they were actually a little bit too tall because they were bar height. They weren't counter height because they didn't do a lot of, islands and counters, 30 plus years ago. And so I actually had them cut down so they would be counter height. And originally when I saw them, I really was buying them because I thought, oh gosh, I just love the shape. I love the bamboo, the wood, so great. I thought I was going to have to recover them. And then, I love it when that happens, when it's so fortuitous. Got this fabric in here and I was like, the greens and are so perfect, and the pops of purples, being able to pull that in. They just worked really well in the space. So I've loved and really enjoyed that. I do try to do a lot of lamps. I think my family even jokes with me like, how many more lamps do we need? But I actually read an article one time that it said if you want your home to look more expensive, and that's not really my goal, but and to feel kind of more up level, to use a lot of lamps and sconces as opposed to the overhead lighting. And obviously I love chandeliers and things like that, but it really does feel so cozy. And I love interesting lamps. I found this lamp at, it's like a church rummage sale. The Boy Scouts have it every year. It's like my favorite weekend of the year. I think it was like $8 or something. I just love interesting lamps. I found that brass one there at the same place. I actually brought it home for my neighbor because I thought it'd be so fabulous, and she told me that it was terrible. But I love it. I think it's great, and it's super heavy. It is almost like solid brass. It's so wonderful. I think that lamps, and that's the thing is so fun, is sometimes I'll buy a lamp. I don't even like the lamp. I'm really buying it for the shade, because sometimes you can find really cool shades. And that's, I think, so key, is that people forget, you get a lamp. Originally when I purchased this one, it did not have this shade on it. I found this shade on Facebook Marketplace. So you can really make things feel so different just by changing out the base or the shade, and kind of giving it new life. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of lamps. And now that they sell the cordless, portable lamps, what a game changer. Those are so great. I actually got these off of Amazon. They're so fun, and I just put the shells on them, and then they can become like a little extra lighting. And you can't tell now, but it's really fun if we're here, maybe having a cocktail or something like that, to turn those on, and if it's dark and it feels kind of moody and fun. And so, yeah, I'm a fan of lots of light. I think it can sound silly to talk about lighting, but I think lighting is so key and really, makes a room feel a certain way. And so I think especially as it gets dark and then, the sun goes down, you just to have this really kind of cool, lamp light just makes a room feel so cozy. It's like when you go into a really great hotel and it's kind of dark, or a really fun bar or something, and it's feels kind of moody and fun. I think you can kind of create that in your home with lamps. I actually found this great kind of art deco rug on Facebook Marketplace, And I knew that y'all were coming soon, and the woman was so sweet and shipped it to me. And it's always hard because, when you look at things online, you're like, the color could be off, it could be different. And so I was like on pins and needles, like, oh, please, 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 let it be beautiful. And I fell in love with it. I mean, my kids were like, another rug? I'm always changing things out. But this one, it would be hard for me to part with this one. I've really fallen head over heels for it. And this coffee table is a favorite. It's so unusual. I think it was handmade. I got it from a sweet antiques dealer, Betty Margaret at the Nest. And it is awesome. I love the fabric and the greens. I know that it was a handmade table, that someone somewhere, put this together, and I think it's so much fun, and it's worked so well in here. It's been multiple places in my home, but it's been great in here too. It was my very first Facebook Marketplace finds ever. The person that I got it from was moving to Arizona. I think he sold it to me framed. I mean, it's such a fabulous, fabulous deal. And I guess nobody else in Alabama wanted a flamingo, so I kind of lucked out there. And then went to an estate sale, years later, and found the pelican. And I had originally planned to reframe him in a similar way as the pelican, but I kind of love that they're like sisters, not necessarily twins. They're similar, but also different and have their own kind of personality. So I think I'm gonna leave him for now. It's really it's kind of a pass-through room, but it kind of gets us to multiple places in our house. And, I love art, and I love vintage art. And I thought, well, this would be such a fun way. And I've been collecting all this vintage art, knowing that it was going in here. And my original plan, it was to put wallpaper in here. And I was like, I'm going to wait to put the vintage art up. And then I was like, gosh, what am I waiting on? This is ridiculous. And I do still plan to put wallpaper up, but when we put the wallpaper up, I'll just put all the art back up. And so it's just a fun, I just love to have, there are things that my children have made. There are things from artists in Birmingham. Really just all kinds of stuff that I just find so unusual and interesting. We spent a spring break in the Keys, and I, of course, love the Keys. And one of my favorite homes I've ever been to was Ernest Hemingway's home. And I happened to be in this kind of old, this house that was having it was a estate sale, but also, they were selling, it was a really old Alabama house, and they were selling pieces out of the house, like fixtures, like stair railings, all kinds of things. And somehow I found this picture of the Ernest Hemingway house. And I was like, that is so cool. I have loved that house, and the fact that I found it in a home in Alabama just feels like it was meant to be here and be part of this collection. This is actually an old ice maker. This is our first housewarming gift when we lived in Atlanta that my parents gave us. And you pull this top off, and the big block of ice would sit in the top. And so, it works really well here, and we've enjoyed it and had fun using it. And these are I found these green shutters from a sweet antiques dealer, Betty Margaret. And I love these green shutters. And then found these great palm sconces. Actually, a friend found them, and we drove to Montgomery to get them. And I just think they're so great. They just, again, remind me of Florida. But this is the area we call, my kids call it Central Command. And because this is where all the stuff goes. And I know it's probably not super editorial, but you know what? It's got to be fun, right? You got to have, some fun calendars, and a friend gave this to me, and I love it. It kind of keeps us all on our toes. But this is where we kind of do, all the things. It's my gift closet. I keep like little gifts in here. I have wrapping paper in here. It's where I come and do my work. I have, art here that I'm saving to, put up and frame and things like that. But I have filled it, with things that I love, and I love this space so much. It is tiny but mighty, and I think one of the things that I love most is this paper mache parrot. I found it at an estate sale. Kind of use them like a chandelier, and I think I love him so much because there's a place in Disney called the Tiki Room, and I can remember going there as a little girl, and we loved the Tiki Room and Pierre and all of the birds. And it sounds so silly, but whenever I look at this, I think of Disney, and I think of just, how much fun and the great memories that I made with my parents, and then now with my own children. And I love that there was actually an article that was published in InStyle magazine. It was called, I think it's called By the Parrot. And it was talking about Jane Birkin and how she found this parrot that in Paris, I think, that she just loved and could not live without. And she talked about how much joy it brought her throughout the years in her home, and it would be in different places. And I feel that way about, things like this. It sounds crazy because, you're in this estate sale and you're like, oh, what am I going to do with the papier mâché parrot? It's so weird. But he really does bring me so much joy. When I open it up, I think about just great memories, and I love having him there. And so this is kind of again, I'm a big fan of things can be functional and beautiful. So this is the work spot area, but it also has my sewing machine and crafts and glue guns and all the things, and a printer and everything. So I love, but it can be pretty too. Yeah, I never map anything out. It makes my husband crazy. Because he is very precise. I'm like, it's fine. We'll just, we'll do it. Throw a nail up there. And he's so much more mathematical than I am. I'm like, it'll be great. And I'm sure there's a better way to do it, but I'm just I just want to live with it and enjoy it and love it and put it on the walls and let's go and know that, it can change if I find something else. It's okay. But yeah, I think that, obviously, I think a basket can be a work of art. I think a plate can be a work of art. This mask, for instance, I found some vintage wallpaper and put the mask on the vintage wallpaper, and I love it. And I don't know that the mask is particularly valuable, but I love those patterns mixed together. And I think it's just a great reminder that things that you love, they can be really simple, but also so impactful and fun, and to surround yourself with things that you love is important. So this hallway kind of connects all of the bedrooms and the girls' Jack and Jill bathroom. And it just, I don't know, it just always felt a little blah and just needed some personality. And again, I do love black and white. It's so graphic. And so wallpaper, we thought about doing wallpaper in here and decided against it. And then I just kind of got in here with a beauty blender, little sponges, wet it so that it was, a larger size. And basically kind of really, when you think about the 80s and sponging your walls and stuff with painting, that's kind of what I did. Okay, so this is my son's room, and it's just, I think I wanted to share it with y'all because I think it's such a fun space. I've got some great vintage pieces in here. This rug, actually, my father brought it back from Turkey. It's a marriage rug, and the colors I just thought were so perfect for a boy. And what I think is so much fun about his room is he's this sports loving, loves to kind of be involved in all the things, but also really has this love of art and enjoys lots of things. And sometimes I'll bring stuff home and he says, oh, is that for my room? I'm like, no, it's for me. But it's just so much fun to surround him. I think he caught a big sailfish and he wanted to, have that in his room. So that's been really fun. And then, I actually had brought home the Mexican restaurant sign from, again, another great antiques friend. And he fell in love with it. And I was like, why not? That's just fun, right? To have the Mexican restaurant sign in your room. And so it's really just filled with just a lot of things that he loves. My daughter and I created these lampshades, just kind of doing some fun patterns and fabric markers and things like that. And he is, he's an easy client. He was happy with just to have all the things. I think it's fun, again, to be surrounded by the things that you love. He really is my kind of coastal, we both, love the coast. He loves the coast. He loves Florida. And so, that he loves to be surrounded by the things that he loves. So we've got lots of ships in here, huge Florida State fan, and so we've got lots of Native Americans in here. And I mean, just a really fun, lots of great, wonderful pieces. He wanted to have a desk in here. And so I actually found this again. I mean, it was a Facebook Marketplace find, but it's vintage, bamboo. It just worked really well in here. It's got great storage. And so, yeah, I mean, and I think it's just one of those pieces that I think will eventually be able to transition so well. I mean, you could almost use it as like a side table if you needed to, and so I love getting things like that for my kids that, hopefully maybe they'll use later on, or could be used in other places or down the road, or, but yeah, this is one of my favorite pieces too. So this is my daughter Harper's room, and it's been really fun because we just redid this space for her. She wanted something that felt a little more like her, a little more grown up, so I'm gonna let her show all of you what she loves about her room.
Well, starting off, I absolutely love my bed. I love to read on it because I've been doing summer reading lately for school, and I just love to read on my bed. It's so comfortable. And then my desk over here, I absolutely love it. I love to do makeup. So it's like a vanity / desk. And I also for school, I'll come up here and do my homework and get that done. And then I have my floor to ceiling mirror. I absolutely love because I love to see my outfits every day. I love my pink dressers.
These were actually old that we repainted, and so they're vintage campaign pieces. And tell everybody what it is what you wanted for your room. That
I want it to feel a little bit more grown up. Like something that I'll have till college, so I won't get tired of it. Not like something too cutesy. Just lots of patterns that all fit together, that just look really nice together. I absolutely love my bulletin board. It's so cute. I love putting pictures of my friends on it, or Bible verses, or just little sweet notes that my friends have given me. I just love to put everything on there.
And that helped a lot with the colors that you love, because it has so colorful. It's from the inside, and it's just, it made it kind of easy because there's lots of colors to draw from.
So I definitely wanted bright colors, but not too bright, in your face, just something that's really nice. I love the yellows, I love the blues, I love the pinks. They just all are so pretty together. I absolutely just love them. They just look so great together. This was also my original color that I had in my old room, but I just really love this color because I don't think I would want a teal or something that I might get bored of. I think this is just a really pretty color for in a room that you'll have till you're older, and you won't get tired of it. It's really pretty.
Harper loves new more than she loves old right now, and that may change, but what's really fun is that we actually found this old vintage, not super old, but just a vintage kind of ginger jar lamp. But it was fun because then she got to add her own twist to it with this really fun new shade. And that's always a fun way to take old things and make them feel maybe a little more contemporary, or a little bit more like your own personality.
Okay, so I absolutely love my room, but when I get older and when I have house of my own, I already told her this, that she's not coming and designing it. Because I have a completely different style than her for a house, but for my room, I absolutely love this. I just love it.
So Homeworthy will have to come back and check Harper's house out, in 20 years from now. Okay, so we are coming into my girls' bathroom. It's a Jack and Jill. And we really did not renovate the upstairs. I mean, this is pretty much true to what it was. And we originally, I had thought, I'm like, gosh, we probably should gut it. And I am so glad we did not gut it. I love it so much. It's probably one of my favorite spaces in the home. I mean, it has this quirkiness to it that I think you just can't get other places. We did redo the vanities and had those, changed out. But really, just changed out some lighting and, painted the floors. But that was, pretty much, we did it was mainly cosmetic. But what I think is probably the most fun that we did in here was to cover this whole area. So each of the girls have their own little vanity. This shower area, we covered the entire thing in wallpaper, and I just love it. Obviously the flamingo. But it has been such a fun project, and a dear friend helped me with this area just to make sure it felt really cohesive and kind of individual to both of the girls and what they love and what they want. But I think it has turned out really, really great. It really is one of my most favorite spots. It really is a big space because both of the girls, so they each have their own separate vanities so they can get ready in the mornings, which it's having girls is key for school and things like that. And then, so you have kind of the shower area that connects both of the spaces. But I just love, one side, the ceilings are really, really tall. On this side, the ceilings are much lower. And so, but it just has this quirky, fun feel to it that I think we would have lost some of the charm if we had totally just gutted everything. And so I think this was a really great solution. When we bought the house, they had covered them in carpet, and once we knew why, because they weren't in great shape. And that wasn't part of the original scope when we renovated, was to redo the hardwood. So we decided for now that we would just paint them. And I think it feels really true to the house. It's kind of been a great fit for us. Well, it's so fun because I have a sweet friend, Hazel House Collective, that sells these beautiful rugs, and again, kind of wanting things to feel cohesive, but not the exact same. And so I would say these rugs really do feel cohesive. They have got lots of similar colors and elements. My daughter and I found this one at a estate sale, and we have found some others along the way. But I love that they're just they're all kind of, I don't know, they're all different, but they all kind of work together, and I think that just makes for such a fun story for the girls to have their own spots. I will say that this light fixture, I always get comments on it. People love this light fixture, and it really has been so much fun. I think it's a CB2 light fixture if I remember, but I think they discontinued it, which I hate, but people love this light fixture, and I think it works well with the house, and it's been fun to have in here, and it gives great lighting too, and so that's always key when you're putting on that makeup. So this is our front porch, and this is really what sold me on the house. The porch runs the entire width of the house, and then it really is like a whole other room for us. We live out here, especially in the fall and spring, even in the summer sometimes. My daughter loves to sit on the porch swing and read, and we've got the fans, and there's just a really great cross breeze that comes from both sides, and so it's just so. I really tried to furnish it like it was another room, which it really is. And what's really fun is we kind of live on this main street here in Birmingham, and it's fun to watch the kids and families and people that we know and love, walk by, and as they're headed down to maybe have dinner or something like that, because we live in a really walkable area. But this is just such a great a space for us, and we host lots of porch parties up here. Halloween is always fun up here because giving out candy, and we'll put a big crock pot of chili out here, and people can kind of come and go, and so it really has been such a wonderful space for us. And people always ask, how does the furniture weather out here? And it weathers pretty well. It's a pretty deep porch. It's about 10 feet deep, and so I just treat it like it's another room. And so we've got a vintage sofa here that a dear friend gave to me. We did have this porch swing made. That was one of the first things we did when we moved, and we have really enjoyed it. And just more chairs, and it's kind of like a come on over and hang out here. And what I love is that it then opens into our dining area and this front living area, and that really is so much fun, just to be able to, especially when the weather's nice, to open the doors wide open and just have people coming and going. I would say that just outdoor living, especially being in Alabama in the South, it's just been so nice because we do have such great weather most of, probably 9 months out of the year. And even when it's really hot, we still get some great breezes. We'll still come out here in the evenings and things like that. So, I wasn't necessarily saying, oh, I have to have a front porch, but I definitely love having an outdoor living space. And I will say that this, again, we eat out here a lot. We have, front porch parties. This is just a great spot for us, and we just enjoy it so much. It really is another room for us. And so we've just, it was the thing that attracted me to the house. When I first saw it, I saw the front porch and I told my husband, I'm like, this is it, this is the house. And I hadn't even been inside of it. Because we really have made so many, wonderful memories out here as family and with our friends and neighbors. And it's just, it's been such a huge part of our home. And it is just a wonderful space for us. What home means to me is it's family, it's friends, and I think it's making the most of the space that you have and learning to love it and really enjoying it and surrounding it with things that are meaningful to you and things that you love.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.